Welcome to the bold analysis. Ladies and gentlemen, William Ruto is the owner of Chama cha Kazi. And I want to tell you that there is no coincidence of William Ruto picking Moses Kuria and giving him a cabinet position and then demanding that he folds his Chama cha Kazi party. I want us to look at why William Ruto formed Chama cha Kazi and planted Moses Kuria as a party leader, and what was the game plan in solving the Mount Kenya equation in the just concluded general election. Before we look at those, if you're watching this video and you've not yet subscribed, I want to humbly request you to subscribe to our channel. Click the notification bell, just the bell next to subscription button. We do the political analysis, and so you'll be receiving notifications when we publish our videos. Immediately, Moses Kuria was nominated to the cabinet. William Ruto has demanded, and there was a circular that was circulated a week before the cabinet list emerged, where William Ruto demanded that all the leaders who want to work in cabinet must relinquish their party positions. So if you want to work as a civil servant, if you want to work for government, you must drop the party positions. And in that capacity, Moses Kuria coincidentally became the first victim because he was the party leader of Chama cha Kazi. And of course, after he was named, he was asked to make sure that he folds that party. So for the last 2 days, Moses Kuria has been camping in registrar of political parties offices in Westlands, that is the Lounge the place, demanding or rather processing the papers of making sure that that party is folded so that he can join Kenya Kwanza. And I am one person that initially, my understanding was that Moses Kuria charted his own path, tried to chart his own path, and because William Ruto saw the potential in him and potential in that Chama cha Kazi, he decided to bring him to cabinet so that he can clip his wings. But I think that is not it. And I was talking to just do peer analysis and few people who are also members who are very close confidence, close to Chama cha Kazi. It seems that that party was actually William Ruto's proxy party. Moses Kuria was just but a caretaker. And you will look at it critically and see how exactly this was it. And so this remains, there is something that comes in my mind in relation to this. If the other parties, for you to get this, to be appointed in government, you have to follow your party. So are we expecting that in future, Ford Kenya and ANC will also fold and join UDA? And how about the other small parties like Farmers Party and the party that belongs to my good friend David Ochieng, the movement for growth and development? Will those parties be demanded to fold to join UDA? And this is it, because for you to be appointed, you have to fold those parties. So you must not take a party position. Now, this brings to the light the fact that that party, Moses Kuria, was a caretaker. And William Ruto, I can say, was categorically behind that party. Let me make some very few observations. Do you know that when they won Kimbiri, the Georgia parliamentary by-election, where George Kimbiri won on the Chama cha Kazi ticket, William Ruto overtook that glory and actually made sure that that candidate crossed over to UDA. Even after winning by Chama cha Kazi Party, he crossed over to UDA, and Chama cha Kazi did not offer very strong candidature in that by-election, in that election, the general election. And actually, the UDA party ran the euphoria and took a lot of credit because they went and invested, saying that, of course, that party belonged to UDA. So what happened is when Moses Kuria left, there was a point of departure between William Ruto and Moses Kuria. And initially it was treated to the fact that when Rigathi Gachagua and the team came through, they tried to occupy the front seat. And Moses Kuria wanted to chart his own path, and it was understood that he formed that party. But I can say that he never formed that party. In fact, that party, the brains behind that party could be William Ruto. Look at the name Chama cha Kazi and William Ruto's slogan, Kazi ni Kazi. It was all bordering the hustler nation. So it was just a concept of metamorphosizing the hustler nation, the hustler movement into some sort. And that's why when it was turned back, it came back. William Ruto has become the first person that has been asked to fold that party. This is a gentleman that was very vocal. And if, why not, I ask, if, how do you think, what was his stake? What did he bring that really make him that prime for even a cabinet position? Why not a CAS? Ask yourself those questions. Ruto has confessed in some meeting somewhere that the UDM party that was in the Northern Front, he himself was the founder of that party in 2012. And that's why that party formed, joined Kenya Kwanza very fast, post-election. He formed that party, and on Azimio's side, that party was on Azimio, it was really strengthened and got a lot of support because he realized that the president had wielded support in that area. And what he did, he sponsored that small party. In fact, there's some, and you know that party got 7 members, I think, of parliament or senate, generally. They got members, more members than even a party like Ford Kenya. So, on Azimio, they were there, but that party, later on, we realized it was founded by William Ruto.
They told me that we have come here, whether you like it or not. So there was no option of us not working together because we have a long history together. We have walked the political journey with many members of this UDM. And to be brutally honest, I am actually the founder of UDM. So thank you for bringing my party home. So the UDM, we formed this UDM party with Ruto Kirwa and Sambu and Jirongo way back in 1998. That's how far it goes. When we were harassed out of Kano, that is what we did. But the rest is history.
That is the same script that was used for Moses Kuria. Now I want to tell you why. This is a deal that not even Rigathi Gachagua and the team knew. Chama cha Kazi was to serve as William Ruto's buffer zone after the nomination. Ruto had already known very well that the nomination was going to create fallouts. And just to manage so that no one will come out of his circle, he really bolstered that Chama cha Kazi party, and Moses Kuria was roving akijanganya ana campaign. But that was one of the reasons. And remember, at the nominations we were so keen, and we were saying Moses Kuria was hawk-eyed. Akiwa anaambia watu, and you know, I've realized that Moses Kuria is one of the politicians that is very, I don't want to say clever or cheeky, but very schemy. No, he's the person who said Mount Kenya sasa sahi hatutaki president, tunataka deputy. He said you want to talk to Mount Kenya, go through Martha Karua, then he abandoned Martha Karua. So it was to serve another purpose. In the run-up to the nominations, Moses Kuria was keep on telling them that kujeni Kenya Kwanza huko mtacheza, kujeni huku chama cha kazi huko mtacheza. Wangekuja hiyo chama cha kazi na kuja pata hiyo ticket, and at an opportune time that chama cha kazi joins William Ruto. So either way, that party, jamani, just maintain this analysis. We are in this country. Haitachukua muda mrefu, some few months to taskia kwamba this party, someone was behind it. Now, do you know why that was it? Number two, I think William Ruto did not know the magnitude of whether President Uhuru Kenyatta was going to campaign in central Kenya. And number two, after the Jubilee breakup, UDA was already, in fact, UDA party had not been formed fully, but it was more of just an hustler movement. It had not shown the UDA as a party that Ruto had not shown that he was going to use that party, but it was still empowerment projects, hustler movement, dynasty versus hustlers narrative. That was what was going on. So when this party was formed, I want to believe that Ruto might envisioned that at the breakup of Jubilee, if someone was not going to join UDA and will still want to remain in Kenya, will still want to remain within Mount Kenya Party, that person would go to Kenya Kwanza. So apart from being a buffer to UDA party, it was also to manage the transition from Jubilee Party. And remember, Moses Kuria came from Jubilee Party. Members of the secretariat, some of them were people that came from Jubilee Party. When Michael Waikenda, who was working in State House, resigned, remember this was a person who was very close to President Uhuru Kenyatta. When he resigned, he did not join UDA. He actually went and joined Chama cha Kazi and vied for Senate position, I think, in Kiambu using Chama cha Kazi. But something, and what might have happened is when after that party was formed, Moses Kuria grew horns and now wanted to be the boss. But unfortunately, the 6 months that he was in the hospital, akiugua the burns, zile za mguu, I think changed everything. And that is what slowed down the activities of Chama cha Kazi. What made Chama cha Kazi not to achieve its objectives was the fact that Moses Kuria was bedridden. So when he came back, it was a little bit, when he came back after that 6 months, when he came back, went to Thika and was like, now I'm going to vie. He did not even announce I'm going to vie for governor. At one point, boom, Moses Kuria was here. Now, the other aspect that I see, when William Ruto was campaigning, one of his strategies was to attack president and to demean president. And Gachagua had confessed that many instances they came up with a strategy to do that. But I see Moses Kuria was used, he was planted to that party to boost his profile in Mount Kenya, so that even if he would attack president, he would attack in his capacity as a party leader of Chama cha Kazi. You understand? So that is, and that is why you would wonder, Moses Kuria would go to Kiambu and abuse Uhuru Kenyatta and abuse Mama Ngina and abuse everyone and abuse Raila Odinga and that. That party was just to boost his profile. And again, would give him a different position. Example, when he goes and, yes, he's campaigning for Raila, he's campaigning for President Ruto, but in his capacity, he's also talking as Chama cha Kazi. By the way, it never existed. It was a very proxy party that was just formed there to boost the profile of Moses Kuria. And the intention would be that maybe if Moses Kuria's profile is boosted, it will help William Ruto in one way or the other. But lastly, Moses Kuria's Chama cha Kazi party was not to go beyond Kiambu, and it was just to help solve the Kiambu stalemate. It was just part of Kiambu equation. One, if one of the questions that it solved was the gubernatorial question. Do you know that Moses Kuria is the person that was used to push Governor Kabogo out of Kenya Kwanza? You know, there was that altercation, kadanganya Kabogo wanakaa kidogo tu wanapanga. The next day he was with William Ruto, and then, you know, Kabogo was literally out. Kabogo was, and when he wrote a minutes of meeting, eti anakutana na Kabogo, surely eti wakupatana na other party leaders, but he was actually pushing Kabogo away, and he was to be used to solve the equation. I am one person that was wondering why. Is it that Moses Kuria could not? Opinion polls in Kiambu was showing that he did not stand a chance of becoming a governor. But he was in that race. He was in that race to neutralize and, of course, to do the divide and rule so that UDA will get that gubernatorial seat. Brilliantly, his candidature was planted there as a lift to UDA gubernatorial candidate. I know behind the scene, in Moses Kuria polling station, the UDA candidate got more votes than him. And he had a soft spot for Kimani Wamatangi than any other candidate. I can tell you that this was a deal that not even Rigathi Gachagua and the other Mount Kenya wing knew. Because even them, they are wondering how Moses Kuria, why Moses Kuria of all the people has been taken to the cabinet. This is a man who on side of the mouth alikuwa like William Ruto this, William Ruto that. On the other side of the campaign trail is possible. He was a troublemaker all through. Wow, what would this special thing that catapulted, pushed him, it pushed it his way, how he lifted himself to the cabinet? There was a secret deal between Moses Kuria and William Ruto. I want to read your thoughts on this, and that is my bold analysis.